Welcome back to the Shoegazing podcast with me, Jesper Ingevaldsson. It's time for the second special edition Q&A episode, where you listeners and readers of shoegazing.com get to ask questions to some big names from the quality shoe industry. This round, it's the most famous of all Japanese bespoke shoemakers that is answering your questions, Yohei Fukuda. Since about 14 years, his bespoke shoes and nowadays also top-class RTW and MTO offerings has been a holy grail for many shoe lovers around the world. Here, Fukuda give his best advice to aspiring shoemakers, answer questions on how much time that is spent on making his shoes, reveal the secrets behind his amazing photos, and much, much more. So enjoy your listen. All right, Yohei Fukuda, once again, welcome to the Shoegazing podcast.
Oh, long time no see.
Yes,
thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me. It's my first day back in Tokyo after over 3 years, I think. I've been postponing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, now, Japan just opened up.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome back to Tokyo.
Yes, thank you very much. And we're doing this sort of question and answer special with you. For those who are more interested in Yohei Fukuda, you should listen to, I think it's episode 2 or 3, one of the first ones, where we talk about, brand building and image and stuff like that, which you certainly are one of the better ones among all the independent bespoke shoemakers, I'd say. So that you should go and listen to if you haven't already. But today it's questions from readers and followers of Shoegazing. And lots of questions came in.
Really?
So
how many questions did you have?
I think it was around 100 or something like that. Yes, some very short, but some really elaborate and all that. Okay. So I sort of had to cut them down quite a lot.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would sit here for a long time. Okay. And many questions were also sort of very similar. But I think we could start a bit with sort of the background for those who don't know them. So, because one question was from, I think his name was Graham on Instagram, and he asked, where did you learn shoemaking?
Okay. So I moved to England after I finished my high school, and I went to I learned the basic of shoemaking at the shoe college. The shoe college is called Tresham Institute.
Yeah, it's in Northampton. Right?
It's in Wellingborough.
Yeah,
it's near Northampton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I worked for bespoke companies for 3 years, and I had an opportunity to learn more about bespoke shoemaking.
Yeah.
And when I was working for the bespoke shoe companies, I was doing repairs, and I can learn a lot. I could learn a lot by doing repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I repaired a legend shoemaker's shoes and sort of stuff.
You saw the best ones, how they were made, and learn from that, so to speak.
So the good shoes are quite easy to repair, and bad shoes are more difficult to repair. Yeah. So I always think that we have to make shoes properly, so the repair guy can repair easily.
Yeah, cool. And then you moved back to Japan. Was it?
I think it was 2007, and I started my brand in 2008.
Yeah. So now it's 14 years.
Yes.
With Yohei Fukuda shoemaker.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool. That's quite some time.
Yeah. So I think I know you for 10 years.
Yeah, maybe something like that. No, not that.
Not
I
that
think
long.
I got into shoes maybe a bit 11 years ago, something like that.
Okay.
And then I remember I dreamed about your shoes. Looked at those. Back then it wasn't as many photos around. So you looked at the ones that were there, and you were dreaming of owning a pair of Fukuda. And now I have, what is it, 6 or so?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So I'm very fortunate with that. Right, we have a question from Thomas Maines, who want to know where you seek inspiration from.
So my inspirations come from the Edwardian era. Yeah, I think that was the most elegant period of the men's classic clothing time. But I do need to update the styles and shapes of the shoes for modern gentlemen. And at that time, there are a lot of shoemakers, and it was a very competitive period of the time. Yeah. So when you see the old samples, we are still impressed.
Yeah. And because that's what I often describe them as sort of traditional British, but modernized. Your shoes. So the modern influences, where do you find inspiration for that then?
Well, we don't want to copy the old style. If you play piano, even though you have the same score, we play differently.
Yeah.
And what I do is I try to follow the shoe making textbook. Yeah. But even though you have the same textbook, we do the different things.
So how has it evolved over time, would you say, your style? Is it the same as it was 2008, or how has it changed during these 14 years, would you say?
I would say our styles haven't changed. And you can see the old sample that I made 14 years ago. And our a long bump Oxford is still our top seller. And our customers still order the same model. So I guess our style haven't changed much. Yeah.
You still do the same. And would you like to sort of evolve into any direction, design-wise? Or are you pleased as it is?
Yeah, I'm quite pleased with what I'm doing, because we cannot make so many shoes. At the moment, we make 100 pairs of bespoke shoes and 200 pairs of ready-to-wear and made-to-order shoes.
Yeah. For a year.
So 300 pairs of shoes for 1 year.
Yeah.
So we cannot make do the new things.
And do you still do all the bespoke shoes in-house here, or do you use outworkers occasionally?
Yeah, we mainly make bespoke shoes in-house. But during the COVID time, our shoemakers wanted to work at home. So some shoemakers worked at home.
All right.
Yeah.
Your own shoemaker, so to speak. All right. Another question, which is sort of, I think it's from maybe from an aspiring shoemaker, Philip Carter, I think. He want to know your advice on practicing patience for aspiring student cord winners.
Okay. So we never fail until we give up.
Yeah,
I think that's an important thing. And I've never felt that I have the talent for shoemaking, but I have just enjoyed shoemaking for 20 years. And the shoemaking is still difficult for me, but it's still fun. And I don't have a talent or skill like a magician. But I think the talent is to enjoy and keep doing the same things for a long time. But sometimes, like when shoemakers find it too difficult, they just give up. Mm-hmm. But I try to enjoy like anything I do.
But do you have any sort of those who are struggling? Maybe they feel that they've tried different things for a few years and they don't sort of evolve and as much as they want, and maybe they're still far away from having a business. How do you go on, so to speak, and just not skip this?
Well, starting a new like a brand or a business, like you have to learn shoemaking, and you also need to know like the branding, a bit of marketing, and you have to be able to like communicate with customers. Yeah. So you have to learn a bit of everything to do the brand. So it's, I think, important to like learn shoemaking and a bit of everything. And try just our best.
So in general, how long would you say that it takes for someone to, if they focus on it solely, so to speak, to become a shoemaker? Can you say a time?
You mean that like every part of shoemaking?
No, not necessarily, because but to become like a bottom maker, for example.
I would say it takes like minimum of 3 years. Yeah. Even you can do that like bottom making, you have to be faster to be able to kind of enough money to survive. Yeah, I know that's one issue that many has. Even if you employ someone who's doing, the work looks good, but to also get up the tempo so that they make shoes quick enough for it to sort of be make the real value for the company, or as a freelancer to be able to make a living of it. That's right.
That's another step that one might not think about as much, because if you finish a really nice shoe, you might think that you're done, but it's quite a long way to be able to make a living of it, because you need to do that over and over again and quicker.
Yeah, if you for instance, independent shoemaker, and if you make only 1 pair a month, you make 12 pairs for 1 year. If you have 120 customers or orders, like the waiting time would be like 10 years. But that's
and you have to charge a lot to go around on 12 shoes.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
So what is the demand for bespoke shoes in Japan nowadays? Who are willing to pay, would you say?
I think the Japanese market is quite mature, because like a lot of Japanese gentlemen have ordered bespoke shoes, and we do not have like so many new Japanese customers every month, but we still have many repeat customers like who enjoy ordering our shoes. And the bespoke shoes takes about 18 months to finish, and that's a long time. And I think our bespoke customers have passion and patience. Yeah.
But how many are international customers and how many are Japanese customers for you?
At the moment, like foreign customer couldn't come to Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have more Japanese bespoke customer than before. But I would say like 70% of our customers are international customers, and 30%
you really have a lot of international. But it's a bit more now with the domestic customers after the COVID years.
Yes, we have more domestic customers than before, and most of them are repeat customers.
And this is from a friend called Peter. His name is Peter and lives in Tokyo actually, but he's called Tokyo Fedora on Instagram. So he want to know how the weak yen has affected your business, as like, for example, imported leathers must have increased in cost a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Japanese yen is very weak now.
Yeah.
And we pay more for materials like leathers and bottom materials. Also, the shipping cost is getting very expensive now.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, we take more orders than before. And I think this is a good time to like shop in Japan.
Yeah, you must have a lot of the international ones who now can travel back. And who, especially the US folks who have a very strong dollar. Your shoes are not cheap, but relatively cheap compared to what they should be, so to speak, for them at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Like our shoes are like 40% off now for some American customers.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a shame for us in Sweden. We sort of follow the Japanese yen, so we are also very. For me, it's not the same as if I would have come from America. Unfortunately, it's and the same when I order stuff from euro or dollar. It's. Costs a lot at the moment. But would you say that it's sort of even if prices for your for the leathers and materials and stuff like that, shipping that sort of can be covered by raising prices maybe, and
we have to raise prices a little bit, but not much. Yeah, to cover the cost. Yeah.
So another question from TN, he's called on Instagram, I think. So what features of European leather do you find superior to Japanese leather that makes you select European leather for your work, would you say?
I think there is a bigger demand for luxury products in Europe. And that is why some European tanneries still make good quality leather, even though the price is very expensive. Yeah. And most of tanneries worldwide are producing low-cost leather because there's a good market, and it is what companies are requesting from the tanneries. To make the low-cost leather, like they need to spray and hide the defects on the leather. And the good quality leather usually have like a natural growth marks and defects. And like we can only use 20% of leather for our shoes. And
also from the European...
Yeah, also, because it's very natural. Yeah. And we see a lot of defects and stuff. So I'm hoping like Japanese tanneries can develop like suitable leather for us in the future.
Yeah, because you have some tanneries, especially who work with horse leather and Cordovan, which is has a very good reputation. But calf leathers, but I've seen some Japanese calf leathers that I've thought looked really nice. But I know. Because also one of the reasons that I know that European leathers are relatively sought after from the quality is that in general European animals live relatively good lives and not too much antibiotics and everything, so that they can grow quicker and live on very small areas and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which also ends up in good leathers. And I know that like in India and stuff like that, where you have the best Indian leathers, it's often European hides that they imported, like wet blue hides that they imported, and then they finish them.
So the hides are very important to make good leather.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think that could potentially grow the Japanese tannery industry to become even more good quality leathers?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I have been developing the like a leather with Japanese tannery. And we have made like some sample like leathers, and the quality is getting better. So in the future, I want to use Japanese leather for our shoes.
Cool. So Tadas is asking, taking into account that the market is very competitive and is getting even more competitive, he says, what makes your shoes stand out, would you say?
Like as I said before, we haven't changed our style. For example, like if you have a favorite Italian pizza restaurant and specializing in margherita, you go to the restaurant to have good pizza, and you don't want to be surprised to see Japanese food on the menu. So when the restaurant like doesn't have many customers, like they might think, okay, they need to offer different kind of food. But I think that's quite wrong. Like they should stick to like what they are good at. So I think that's one of the reasons like we are keeping our house style and like originality. So that's kind of makes like different from our like from other brands.
How is it? Because in general, at least in Europe and the US, there's a lot of talk about sort of the casualization of society and how people wear less formal clothing nowadays, and that's been sort of sped up by COVID, of course. How is that here in Japan, would you say?
Like a lot of like office workers are now like working at home. And they don't need to wear the proper suits or tie or shirts. They tend to wear more relaxed clothes. And in Japan, we don't wear shoes at home. So you are right. Like people are dressing more casually, and we take more orders of like casual shoes. Like
you do that.
Loafers, split toe derbies, like chukka boots. But they are still classic.
Exactly. But it's you see that it's more a bit less dressy Oxfords and more casual style shoes. Cool. Okay, then we have lots of questions on around your making of and all that. So I've selected a few here. This one is from Shashan Krajkana, I think. And he want to know how much time you invest in making one pair of bespoke shoes, roughly.
For the first pair of bespoke shoes, like we usually spend 120 hours to 140 hours like making the first pair. And for the second pair, we usually spend 80 hours.
That's still that's much.
Still, that's right. I think we spend more time than like other bespoke companies.
Because that's really long for sure.
And the factory made shoes, it probably takes 3 hours to make.
All right.
So compared to the factory made shoes, our like making time is much longer.
So your bespoke is sort of cheaper.
Maybe yes.
But you still have the material costs and all that, of course.
Yes, that's right. Which is
more or less similar, I guess, for ready to wear and for the bespoke. It's not that big difference. And we have Agnes, who is asking, how long does it take to do the finishing of the shoes, the polishing and all that?
Well, we usually spend at least 1 hour polishing a pair of shoes. So we make about like 25 pairs of shoes a month. And we spend more than, I guess, 30 hours. For 1 month,
That's quite, but I know, especially for some leathers, I can imagine that you have to work a lot. Because we should say that for those who don't know, that you basically always deliver them with like proper high shine finishing, so to speak. It's that's one of the good things when you order from and receive shoes from guys like you, that you never have to polish them yourself or build it up at least from the beginning. You have that as a base for many long time.
Right. So customers do not need to spend a lot of time to polish shoes. Our polishing remains for a long time.
So you should hope to get more suede orders and cut the making cost a bit. And one question wonders what the reason behind that you wanted to start a ready-to-wear range.
So there are some reasons why I started the ready-to-wear range. One of the biggest reasons is to increase the global awareness of Japanese shoes. By foreign customers. By growing this market, we can provide a good environment for shoemakers in Japan to continue this tradition. Otherwise, if we don't have orders, we cannot make shoes. So I think, it's important to start ready-to-wear shoes. And another reason is to shorten the waiting time. Because 5 years ago, we only produced 80 pairs of bespoke shoes for 1 year. And the waiting time was over 2 years. And with ready-to-wear shoes, our customers can get shoes immediately if we have the shoes in stock.
And delivery time for even if it has to be made, it's much shorter than for a bespoke.
That's right.
And from the same person, why want to know? I'm not sure if it's correct, but maybe they've kept track even better on your Instagram. But they want to know, you don't do much cordovan shoes. Why is that?
Well, because most of our customers prefer to use calf or suede leather. And I think many of our customers tend to order elegant shoes from us. And the cordovan doesn't mean casual, but the image of cordovan is usually used for the casual shoes. So we don't select leather. Our customers select leather. But
you offer cordovan.
We do offer cordovans.
Maybe it will be a bit more than if you have more casual styles that you will see an increase in cordovan.
That's right.
That would look maybe even nicer when you do the photographs with all the lots of cordovan. With the glow.
Maybe yes. And I put some shoes made of cordovan. Just I didn't put it's cordovan. So you wouldn't realize that they are cordovan shoes.
Exactly. Because sometimes, especially when the way you shine your shoes and the way you take photos of them, they look really shiny. That's actually one question that many has asked about. How you take such good photos.
Thank you. When I started Instagram, that was 8 years ago. And I used my iPhone to take a picture when I started. And now I use Sony Alpha 7R3 or Leica M10 to take pictures. And they are very useful tool. But I have put over 2,000 pictures of shoes. So I need to be quite good at taking shoe photos.
And you're also interested in photography.
I like photography.
And you have lots of gadgets. I often say that every time I came here, before COVID, I often came once a year. And then every time you had a counter here in the back of the showroom, it always was moved out a bit more because you had all these flashes and photographic gear laying there. And it was growing and growing. And now I was surprised because it was moved back again. But you have a new tools upstairs. The camera stuff was in you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I want to improve. Yeah, that's right.
But what's most fun, making shoes or taking photos of shoes?
Well, photography is quite similar to like cutting patterns. Yeah, so we have to have a good balance. Yeah. So both of them are fun.
But how, because you work with what you call it? Flash, flash,
like artificial light.
Yeah, artificial light, right? Do you work with one flash or do you have several? And
well, I only have one artificial light, so I just use one light to take pictures most of the time.
Yeah.
Of course, the natural like light is better, but sometimes usually I take photos before I go home, and it's in the evening, so I have to use the light.
Yeah. But you have one light, but do you also have these reflection boards and stuff like that you work with?
I used to use the board to take pictures before, but I only have two hands.
Yeah.
And, I have to hold camera, I have to hold the board, and it was getting more difficult.
Yeah.
So I gave up using the board.
Yeah.
I just use one light now.
But how much time to take one of those images that you post on Instagram? How much time do you spend roughly normally to?
Usually I spend 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Setting it up and...
Yeah, setting up and taking pictures and done. Because I've done it so many times.
But you don't edit it anything or...
If the picture is too light, I do the editing.
Yeah.
But maybe it takes like a few minutes.
Nice. That's certainly not the case when I take photos. Because I have to take shitloads, because very few get...
1 hour to take one picture?
Or 1 hour and you get one good photos, but 100 photos.
Wow.
But 99 bad ones. But yeah, we actually, with the company I work for, we started using these photography equipment with flash and all that, and it is indeed easier to get, because like you say, when you know how to do it, it's easier compared to when it's natural, when you shoot the natural light. It differs so much, so then you have to do things differently every time. At least for me, who's not a good photographer, it's easier to do it with equipment and fixed settings and all that.
But sometimes, like if you spend like too much effort and time, sometimes you get not so motivated.
Yeah.
So it's okay to take good photos if you are lucky, but it's also okay to take bad photos. Just important thing is just you have to continue doing this as a habit or something.
So many people also want to know when are you coming to Europe and the US again to do trunk shows, and which cities?
Yeah, I'm planning to have a trunk show in Paris this November.
Cool.
And I will go back to London and Geneva in June next year, because I just finished the trunk show in London and Geneva.
Yeah, you were there this summer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. And to the US, any plans?
We don't have a plan for US trunk show yet. Yeah, but
because you have been there, right, at the Armory before?
Yes, I have. I have done the trunk show in New York City before.
So from Piriecha, are there any styles of footwear that you don't like, either stylistically or to make?
That's a tough question.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a shoemaker. I like most shoes.
But are there some shoes that you get an order and you feel like, oh, not this. It's so boring or it's so ugly or...
I enjoy shoemaking. But sometimes, like, if you order a pair of, for instance, Cordovan Chelsea boots.
Yeah.
Cordovan is stiff leather.
Yeah, difficult.
And, difficult to have a nice shape.
Yeah.
Difficult to the blocking.
Yeah, and you know that you're in for a lot of hair scratching and hard work.
Yeah, that's hard work. And I don't want to waste that important leather.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's because that's why you often upcharge when you do that type of things. Because you have the risk of tearing the leather. And,
that's right.
But are there any shoes that you wouldn't wear yourself that you don't like to wear?
Most of the time I wear like classic shoes, leather shoes. I don't have any sandals yet.
No, right.
I have some trainers.
Yeah. But is it because you don't like sandals or just because you haven't sort of felt the need for them?
I don't know. I used to have sandals when I was younger.
Yeah. You don't have time to go to the beach, so you don't...
Maybe that's the answer. Yeah. Are there any shoes that you don't like?
That I don't like?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah, but there's many shoes that I find hideous. But especially the ones, cheap dress shoes that are like very square and they have these seams along the edges and stuff like that. I mean, that looks like shit for sure. That, which is like, and also here in Japan, you see quite a lot of that.
That's correct.
Very cheap dress shoes or formal shoes, what you would call it, but the people wear black shoes that they wear to the office and they don't care at all. They just needed a pair of black leather shoes.
Something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it looks like, some are really bad, I'd say. But yeah, of course, I see what you mean. But if you look at it from the other direction, and this is from Tor, if you had to wear one pair of shoes for the rest of your life, which would it be and why?
That's a difficult question as well. So the shoes have to be quite versatile,
for sure.
comfortable, and long-lasting. And if I could only have one pair of shoes, I would say probably Split or Derby in grain leather with half rubber and rubber heel, just like because it rains sometimes. And just like what I'm wearing today.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you pick?
Would probably be something rather similar if you would look at it in a practical way. If I would only I often say that when I get asked the question, which shoe would you say first when there's a fire? I often mention those special Adelaides that I have from you, brown ones with this like peak Adelaide pattern, which is I think they're my favorite pair of all the ones I have. But if I only would have those shoes, I would look really off in many occasions, and it wouldn't be. Now the kids are a bit older, but they would certainly not be good when you were at the playground with the kids.
Yeah, that's right. So it's impossible to pick just one shoe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But something like some sort of derby with tougher leather and stuff like that would probably be what you could wear with most things at least.
Yeah.
And like you say, that would last for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So this is a quite interesting one. I think we finish off with this. It's from Satoya, Baltimore. who want to know what you think is the next innovation in pattern and or so last design that you think will become popular.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I don't know. I don't follow the trend, or I don't follow fashion.
No.
I just want to stick with the classic style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you think, if you look at the classic models, you've had a few sort of models that become. We had a double monk strap that was really popular a few years ago, and now talking about the split derby, which is, I think, is a very, very popular model at the moment. More popular than it sort of used to be.
Yeah,
so to speak.
I understand. Yeah, what you mean.
But those are obviously not new styles, but. Yeah.
I think like a lot of people have been dressing casually and kind of like casual shoes, quite chunky looking shoes have been quite popular for many years.
Yeah.
So maybe next trend would be kind of bit sleeker looking shoes.
Yeah, that comes back again.
That comes back
again.
That's,
you often have these cycles. So,
that's right.
But it's interesting also to think about, innovations within this field. You have a few things. Like, I thought about it the other day that I've seen more and more, spiral hole cuts. I think from what I know, it's probably from way before. Anyway, but I know John Lowe Paris, they did one spiral hole cut for the St. Crispin's model that they do every year for the 25th of October. But that I've seen being made in different versions also from ready-to-wear brands and stuff like that. And the seamless hole cut was also a thing that's also from way back, of course, but it's something that you've seen becoming more and more popular, and also ready-to-wear brands started offering it.
Oh, really? Like seamless hole cut?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
A few ready-to-wear brands. Do you have any, are there anything that you sort of innovated or so? Do you have anything that you feel that you came up with within shoemaking?
Like I started doing the swan neck perforation when I started my brand.
Yeah.
And I guess like some companies, have kind of taken the kind of signature and that they use it for their shoes. Yeah,
that's that you see nowadays from several brands and maybe bespoke makers as well.
And there were like long vamp Oxford. It's like getting more popular, I guess. So some companies started to make.
But the perforated swan neck thing, did you find inspiration from that from anywhere, or did you sort of come up with it yourself? You remember how it started?
I don't actually remember, but I always liked the swan neck. And I just thought, okay, I don't want to be very showy, but I want to be a little bit different. So I thought, punched swan neck, maybe a good signature of our shoes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yohei Fukuda, thank you very much for taking the time and answer all these questions. And thank you everyone who asked questions.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Head to shoegazing.com for much more on quality shoes. And to those of you who want to support shoegazing and make it possible for me to, for example, continue to travel and meet all these great shoemakers, there is a Patreon page where you can contribute with anything from $3 a month. Both big and small contributions are much appreciated. See shoegazing.com for more info on this. The Shoegazing Podcast will be back with a new episode in a short while, so hear you again soon.